Hey everyone, Chris Streaming Code here. Today I thought we'd take a little bit of a break from working on my game to just go back and re-implement the space shooter we built in JS last week, just to kind of see how it would go in Godot and to get a little more Godot practice in. So, just a reminder what the game's like. So here it is. This is JavaScript version. So we have our title screen, says Space Shooter and Start. We hit Start. We can move around with the arrow keys. We have enemies that spawn from the top, fly down towards us. We have our ship, which we can move around up to halfway up the screen. So that's as far as I allow it to go. I can shoot stuff with space, and I can pick up the battery power-up, which increases the rate of fire, doubles it. I can pick up the health power-ups. And then if I lose... Okay. Then we have the game over screen, shows the score, and we have a play again button. So, let's go build that in Godot. So I'm going to start up a new project. Call it Space Shooter. And we'll go to K, Godot projects, create a folder, Space Shooter, select, create and edit. All right, so let's start off with, so we'll go ahead and we'll keep this aspect ratio, I think. So let's create I guess we'll just start with a node 2D in the background. All right, so let's create, we'll kind of follow the pattern Godot recommends. So we'll start with a, go with an animated sprite, even though we're not technically animated. So we're going to build the ship first. So I'll have the ship. Then we'll go ahead, we'll create a new frame, click it to edit it. All right, and we just have one. And we just have, let's copy over our art stuff first. All right, so... So this is the JS version. Here's all the graphics we used. Then we'll go into the Godot one. Make a new folder. We'll call it art. We'll dump them all in there. All right, and we won't be using those two today. Maybe we will. We'll leave them there for now. Okay. So then, now I can come back here and drag in my ship. All right, there we go. We now have a ship. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this as ship. Alright, so we'll circle back to that in a bit. Let's go ahead and make another new scene. Other node, node D, animate sprite. Create, we're going to name this will be for our enemy. New sprite. Enemy. All right, so that's good enough there. Make another one. We're gonna call this bullet, and this one we won't do an animated sprite. We'll just do a regular sprite. Bullet, or actually we'll call it laser because it is the laser. Okay. No, oh, right. This is just texture, not animation. So we'll just drag that up there. Go. Alright, so that gives us our laser. Now we'll do another one for our power-ups. So another sprite, health, texture, name it health, save, health. Alright. Another one, sprite for the battery. Okay. Alright, so there we go. So now let's go ahead and hook up collisions for each of these. shapes. And let's pull up the Godot 2D tutorial. We'll see how much I remember, but I suspect I'll have to look up stuff. But I think for this, it was, we had a child node, and it should be a collision. We can either do a shape or a polygon. So all of theirs were shapes. Let's do a polygon maybe, because I think this is really going to be like a square shape. Nope. Am I clicking? Oh, I see. It wants me to draw a polygon. Interesting. Okay. Alright, how do I get to let me redraw that? Because I messed it up. Huh, maybe we can't. Okay. So actually I think I like this shape better then. Shape, create the shape. We'll do a rectangle shape for this one. Yeah, I like the shape better. Polygon. Trace it. Alright. And so for this little bit, if we wanted to have it like super perfect, we could have two shapes to get that little, so it's not got this little bit and this little bit. But in this case, we don't care because, the difference between hitting that is going to be real minor. So, why are you grumpy? Only serves to provide a collision to a collision object 2D derived node. Please only use, right, that was what. I knew the sprites weren't the top. That should have been an area 2D. Create. And then the sprite should have been inside of this. That was what felt weird. Right, okay. And then let's make sure we turn that on so we can't accidentally drag pieces when we don't want to. Okay, so there's our battery. All right, now let's go do the same for health. All right, so I messed all these up, so let's redo them real quick. Area 2D. Okay, then we add a sprite to this. And we're going to drag that. Let's go ahead and make sure we turn that on. Let's add a collision shape. Okay, we're going to make this a rectangle. And actually, for this one, we will do two, just for funsies. So I'm going to do one for this part. And one thing we'll have to make sure we handle properly is I'm going to overlap the two collision shapes, and we want to make sure that that we make it so we don't like do something twice. So if we manage to touch the center, we don't want to get 2 health. We only want to get 1 still. So we'll have to double check that we code that right. Okay, so there's the health. Alright, laser is basically the same thing again. Area 2D at the top. Then we add a sprite. Okay, laser. Alright. Nope. Oh, let's turn that on. Did I turn that on first? I did. Good. Alright. Drag it over here, zoom in so we can see it. Alright. Sprite's good. Alright, now we add a collision shape. Add a rectangle. Alright, shrink, 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 shrink. Okay. Alright, that should be good there. Alright, enemy. Change this to a area 2D. Add a pretend it's an animated sprite. It's not, but we'll pretend it is. All right, we'll make an animation. Okay, enemy, there we go. All right, we'll add a collision shape. Make it a rectangle. And size it appropriately. Okay. All right, and now the ship. All right, so the ship. Let's first do the area 2D on the sprite again. Okay, add a sprite. Ship. Okay, and then we'll do. So this one we will actually do a polygon collision because we can use polygon to get it nice and straight. So let's see how we use these since this is a polygon. So this is one improvement over the JS version already because remember in the JS we talked about we could implement something fancier for the hitbox, but we ended up just sticking with just the rectangle for time's sake. So this is no more complicated to implement than an ordinary rectangle hitbox, which is nice. So there we go. All right, so there's the ship. Okay, so now let's go ahead. We'll make a main. We're just gonna do an other. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and add a background. We're gonna try these out. I'm hoping that. Let's see. No to use it. Okay. So we want a parallax background, and I'm not entirely sure how to use these, so let's try to figure that out. So parallax layer. Great. All right. Somehow I didn't get the background copied. All right. Code. Space shooter. Assets. All right, because background was its own thing. Godot. Space shooter. Art. All right. This is the background. Okay. So put the background into texture here. Okay, I'm gonna stretch it out. And really, stretching out a background wouldn't really be good. You'd want to make one that was a higher resolution. It's okay to shrink images, and it's less okay to make them grow. But it's just a background, and the background's basically noise anyways, that it's not going to hurt anything too much for this one. All right, we're going to name this main. Okay, so let's see now. Let's try to figure this guy out. So scroll. Offset, layer, motion. All right, let's go to the Googles. Figure out how to use this. Go.parallax background. All right, parallax background. Parallax background uses one or more parallax layer child nodes to create a parallax effect. Each parallax layer can move at a differing speed using parallax stop motion. This creates an illusion of depth from 2D game. If not used with camera, you must manually calculate the scroll offset. All right, let's see if we can find a tutorial. All right, top-down scrolling, fixed scrolling. For example, scrolling right. For top-down scrolling terrain, you could use a camera 2D as a child of a canvas layer node. But for view of clouds, rolling hills, and background buildings, we would have several parallax nodes, each with an individual sprite for their content. So to get that bit right, the relative scrolling speeds of these nodes is set by adjusting the motion scale to give a pseudo 3D effect. Here, let's see. All right, so let's see here. So, alright, so we do put, so, oh, okay. So we were actually looking for this in ours, in game, my game that I'm working on. We may need to go implement this because there is a camera 2D. It's just not required. So Unity, which I'm familiar with, pretty much requires you to have a camera. So this one doesn't, which is interesting, but it does exist for if you want it, which is nice. So, oh, I moved the camera. Let me move you. No, I'm not moving you. I'll move the camera. There we go. All right. Huh. That's interesting. Its offset isn't actually changing. So what am I moving? I'm changing its transform. Okay. Interesting. Drag limits. Huh. Okay. Let's see. I imagine we want to turn current on. Okay. Alright, let's turn the parallax back on. Let's see here. Look that. Alright. So let's see. So we need camera track, switch to your player scene and add a camera. I named mine camera. Here's what you'll see in the inspector. For the camera to work, you must use the current property. It's possible to have multiple cameras, but only one can be current, and that one window will track. Okay, so let's see. So in this case, alright, so this may not actually work for us, because in this case they're tracking the player moving, but we're not really going to move the ship. We're going to actually have the enemies move. So we may or may not use this, but let's see what they have. Alright, finally let's add a really cool effect. Parallax scrolling. This means we want to have our background scroll, which means you can add a parallax background node. Drag it to the top of the tree. The node controls parallax scrolling, but you might want to have more than one layer. For this reason, it needs to contain parallax layers. Property, blah, blah, blah. Add one to the tree, make the background its child. Scenes should now look like this. Okay, so it sounds like with a camera, it just kind of magically works. Which is nice. But I don't think it'll work with our approach. So let's go for Godot parallax background without camera. The update when a camera is moved, so it requires a camera for it to scroll. What you can do is have a separate canvas layer node. And all children of this canvas layer won't be affected by the camera's movement. You could then move or animate the camera however you want. The camera will scroll and everything. Okay, so that kind of makes sense then. So, sounds like basically what they're saying is we would put our stuff on a canvas layer, like the ship and stuff, and move those, and then the camera just controls the parallax background. So let's first see if we can't set this up. Okay, so it sounds like we would need then, let's add a main. Okay. And it sounds like we need a timer then. And this will be, we'll call it the background timer. This will be what's going to move the background. And we're going to make it, actually no, we're going to have something on in process. That way it happens every tick, because it'll happen more often than the timer would go. So process. Alright, so camera dot position dot y plus equals 5. Let's see what that does. Select current. Everything's on fire, that's what it does. Oh, that's because in one day I've forgotten how to use Godot. I did everything wrong. That's kind of impressive in a terrible way. No, don't do that, Godot. We got a lock, so we need to restart. I wish I knew what caused that. Alright. Okay. Play. Function signature doesn't match the parent. Oh, right. We have to pass in a delta. And actually, we should do like 5 times delta. Stop blowing up. Alright. Invalid get index position on base null. Oh, because it's. Actually, let's rename background camera. Alright. And background new camera. Okay. So it is moving. It's kind of slow. Just crank it up. And it's actually moving the wrong way. 100 times delta. Okay, and now but it's not parallaxed. Oh, did we need? Let's see. I think there is something. All right, let's see. Camera. In order to as possible to have multiple cameras to play, feel free to cast. Okay, it's up to player. Repeat background. When you check the region property back, don't worry, we need to fill the region rect property as well. Set the width and height to blah blah blah, and you will now see it along. Okay, so we need to go region on. Okay. So, alright, region on. And they did something with this. What did they? Wait, this is different than ours. What do they? They have a sprite. What did I do? I have a sprite. Okay, and we clicked that. It's not doing the same thing. Interesting. Actually, they have a different icon too. I wonder if they're using an older version for that tutorial. Alright, so let's see. Alright, now we just have nothing. Oh, we did need to enable a region, it said. So what is our project window set to 1024 by 600? So let's try that. Oh, it's not happy that Oh, I get it. So this is actually for the image size of the image itself, which is 800 by 1200. Okay, and then I should be able to stretch this out like we had it again. Don't stretch it like that. Stretch it like this. Okay, there. Okay. So let's see what happens now. Nope, it's still not repeating. Alright, so how do we turn on repeating? If truly I'm gonna get blurred. Bum, 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 bum. Wait, is it a normal map? Did they have a normal map? Maps, they have a texture. Yeah, they're definitely using a different version of ours. How did they get to that texture thing? Let's see. What if I do new image texture? Ah, there we go. It's a little bit different than just what we had. image. Nope. New image. Quick load. Wonder doesn't want a specific. Select a resource. Stream texture does not match any expected type. Interesting. Okay. How to use image texture. Texture based on an image. For an image to be displayed, an image texture has to be created from it using create from image. So the textures can be created at runtime by loading images both from within and without. Prefer to load imported textures. Godot can import. Default action as textures. Textures are stored. Video memory. Okay. Import options are vast. How do we get it to let us import them? New image. Good at how to create. No, but I don't want that. I want it like this. Native image data types contains image data which can be converted to an image texture and provides commonly used. Alright, image to a texture property of an object directly, such as bright. It has to be. Yeah. How do I create it? Yeah, so it like goes into all the import thing, but I don't see where it says to how to actually do it. Oh, here, import. Select resources. Okay, maybe that's what we need. Oh. Okay. Import as image. Import. Sure. Apparently, it's a big deal. All right. Let's see if we can get this in here now. Okay. So now, there we go. Okay. And now I can turn repeat on. All right. Still didn't help us. All right. So let's try this real quick. We'll see if it actually repeats or not. Alright, let's actually go, we'll tweak our script just so it's really moving so we can see the bit we want to see quickly. Little too moving. Alright, let's try this again. Okay. Yeah. It's still not working, so we have camera. We have our parallax. The parallax. Alright. Godot, parallax, background without camera. Can do is have a separate canvas layer, then all children of this canvas will be affected. You could then move or animate the camera however you want. The background will scroll. Everything you add to the canvas layer will stay as normal. Yeah. So Godot camera. I wonder if maybe position isn't what we want to use. is. Projection. Camera 2D specifically. Tab is fine, but more French. Okay, so alright, I wonder if we should be changing the offset instead of the other bit. Alright, because how they did it theirs was current as possible. Alright, now we need to make the camera track wherever the switch to player signal camera. Oh, they just literally added it so when the player moves in the game already. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Oh wait, we did need to. I wonder if that matters for this. Let's find out. Nope. Alright, so parallax background. If true element child unaffected by this follow viewport on. Alright, let's see here. Means Godot has two sets and a parallax node background. Let's double check that's what we got. Okay, drag it to the top of the tree. This node controls you might want to have more than one layer. Background for this reason, parallax background node needs to contain one or more parallax layer nodes, which we have. Add one to the tree, make it background. Your scene should look like this. It does. Properties, motion scale is what we want to play with to adjust the movement speed of the background. Okay. Alright, so I'm not totally sure what's up with that. Let's go ahead, let's get the rest of our stuff in here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll circle back. So let's go ahead and add our canvas layer. Alright, so this would be, I don't know what to call that right now. Alright, and then to here, I'm going to add, I'm going to add a ship, with the ship going first. Okay, so let's go into our properties and set up our input controls. All right, so we're going to have ship left, ship right, ship up, and ship down. Oh, and ship fire. Okay, then we'll add a key to each. All right, so left will be arrow key. Right, arrow key. Up. Down. And fire will be space. All right. So now then we'll go ahead and just get rid of that for now. All right. So if input dot is action pressed ship left, then ship dot position, or actually we'll do what they did. Make a new vector. We'll do it how they did it in the tutorial because I really like that. Movement dot x equals -1, or we can just say minus equals 1. If input dot is action pressed ship right, movement dot x plus equals 1. And by doing the plus equals, that means if we're holding both for some reason, we won't move, which I think makes the most sense of a weird thing that I don't know why you would hold both at once, but just in case you are. Section press ship down. Movement.y plus equals. Okay. And then here we're going to normalize it. Double check. I don't remember if it returns a new vector or if it okay, it does return a new vector. So yeah, and actually we can just do ship.position plus equals movement dot normalize. So that makes it so we'll have some speed, which we'll actually set on here. There's ship speed equals 400. We need to play with that. And if you're moving, like that's our max speed we want to move. So if we were moving just left to right and you times that by 1, then that would be 400. If you're moving just up or down, times that by 400, that would be right. But then if you're holding both, you would actually move a little bit faster on the diagonal, which we don't want. So normalize takes care of that for us by making sure that we don't, essentially. Times delta. Okay, and then we'll clamp the ship speed. Clamp ship position. And then so for now we'll just say 0, 0, and we're gonna have to tweak it just a bit. This is get viewport dot get. It was get rect. Viewport rect. Because there was that one function, we could never get that one to work in our own game, even though they used it in the tutorial. We never figured out why, but there's get visible rect. That one always worked. Visible rect. And actually we can just have that be that. Oh yeah, and they have a vector 2.0 identity we can use instead of that. Okay, so let's try that out now. Play. Oh, right, because it's not ship, it's canvas layer ship. Actually, you know what? Let's use this thing. We used it. Hang on. I haven't actually used this yet. Access as scene unique name. Good. Access as scene unique name. Okay. Oh, I guess we can't do the shortcut. We have to do it like with get node. Oh, that's not the arc. No. Okay. All right. Alright, let's go ahead. We're just going to keep calling it canvas layer. Let's use this then. And we won't use that unique name thing if I have to use that, the get node anyways. Okay. And again, keep doing that. Alright. Copy everything. Yeah, I know. Quit. Restart. Luckily, it starts up pretty quick. Okay. So, script. Okay. That clamp called the argument with pass doesn't match. Oh, can it not clamp? Did we have to clamp it twice in this one? Hang on, let's see. Coding the player. Normalize speed. Oh, we did clamp in both directions. Okay. So yeah, did they apply theirs? Yeah, they did. Okay. All right. So clamp. Okay. gonna try using that again. It was X, right? Not with. Yes. Okay. Yeah. See, that's weird. I don't know why it exists for them, but it doesn't. Oh, I wonder if it's because we're not in area 2D. Maybe that's the trick. No, we are in an area 2D. Or are we? No, we're not. Just. Oh, right. This code should actually go on the player. Not on main. Ship. Alright. I've still not quite got my brain rewritten yet to handle the whole scenes are also reusable components things. I really like the idea. My brain just hasn't quite adapted to it yet. Still not quite thinking in that way yet. Okay. And then, yeah, that's not a bad thing to do. Okay. So let's try this out now. Oh yeah, I'm going to rename this. Yeah, one thing I miss that in JetBrains has the whole refactor thing, so you can rename a variable in one place and it updates in all the places. Use that all the time. Stop blowing up. Position based on null. Oh, right. Because now it's just ship. Or actually, it's not even ship, it's itself. So just ditch all that. Which does make the code nicer looking. Okay. Okay. So nothing's happening. So get in here. Oh, no, because those should be part of project settings unless they didn't get saved. Alright, ship left, right, ship up, down, fire. Is action pressed? Okay, yeah, that should have worked. Okay, so we'll print velocity. Okay. Let's see if okay, so we are getting in there. Oh, I didn't mean to print the word velocity. Print that variable velocity. So we'll see is okay. So we have numbers here, so that much is working. So let's see. So we have velocity normalized times ship speed times delta. Speed that they use. They used 402. And times normal. So we're doing things in one step instead of two. They calculate the velocity normalized times speed, and then they just multiply that by delta. Oh, did I say equal? No, I said plus equal, so that's right as well. Oh, well, it doesn't need to be an if statement, really. It doesn't need to be in an if statement, I guess. Why you no move? Alright. Oh, one thing, and maybe this is the problem. That's not locked. Set the cause. Nope. Okay. Oh, right. I'm running the main scene, which doesn't have this. I want to run this scene. Still doesn't work. Actually, I guess there's no harm running main scene anyways. Alright, so what are we missing? So we're setting the vector. Position. Okay. All right, let's do this just so we can output it. Make sure that's non-zero. Multiply it by delta. Put this down here. Okay, yeah, so it works. Yeah, there you can see how it's picking numbers that, and even though those do end up adding up to 400 or more than 400, because it's moving at a diagonal, that ends up working out to moving 400 along the diagonal. Why is our ship not moving? All right, probably because of the clamp. Okay. So why is the clamp doing that? That's the question then. So let's output screen size. Make sure screen size isn't somehow 0. Oh, look at that. Our screen size is 0. That's curious. I don't know why that's the case. Oh, because we need to put that in the ready, not up top. I guess it ends up getting called before we have a screen, which means the screen size is 0, which does make sense. Import dot size. Okay. There we go. Okay. There we go. And it is clamping, but it's clamping halfway down. So I'm going to look up how to get Godot get size of sprite. As far as I know, you can't resize sprites quickly, so you need to rescale it. Dun, 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 dun. Is that the only way? Texture, get size. Okay, yeah, so we grab the texture. And we get size. Okay. So we'll grab that here then, because that's possibly an expensive operation. Equals, so this is then ma sprite dot get size, or just size, I think. And then this is going to be, so the closest we want it to get to the edge is half a ship away. X divided by 2, ship size dot y divided by 2. And then the closest we want it to get to the right edge is almost. And these extra parentheses aren't required, but whenever you're mixing signs, because of order of operations, but whenever you're mixing signs, it's nice to wrap them in parentheses just because it helps with understanding at a glance. Oh, get texture. Dot size, I think, right? No, just dot texture. Oh, because it's an animated sprite. Alright. Godot. Get size of animated sprite. Frame of the I want to access dot frames. Get frame animation. Right. So, and actually this raises a good point that if we did animate the ship, we would. The ship may not always be a constant width, so it's probably better to do then. Actually, maybe just direct. Is there just direct? No, I guess area 2D is the most appropriate. appropriate. Except area 2D itself doesn't have a size. So I'd like to put some kind of component to be like, this is the size it's going to be overall. Just because I want to keep it in. So we could do this, but if the size of the images is not the same, it'll kind of mess things up. But it seems like area 2D doesn't really have its own rectangle attached. So we need to attach something that has a rectangle. Yeah, so see, that as a position, it doesn't have a size. So reference rectangle. It's for GUIs. Background buffer, copy, collision. Guess we could add a collision shape and use that to check it, but I feel like that's overkill. Polygon 2D. Maybe. Even a shape 2D, is there? No. I feel like polygon 2D might be overkill too, because a polygon can be multiple sides, and while squares are easy, non-squares can be tricky to calculate, so they'd have to have code for kind of universal. Universal words. Have universal math for any polygon, so that way they can deal with it. But I'm not actually seeing any better options other than maybe a collision shape 2D. Let's try collision shape 2D. New rectangle shape 2D. So we're going to use this collision shape not for detecting collisions, but just as kind of our indicator for how big our ship is. So we want that to always encompass our ship. Okay. We'll call that ship size. Nope, not on that one. Not that one. Okay. So now, get size of collision shape. Not sure what shape you're using, but for if you click the rectangle in the shape, and then there's an extents panel where you can directly supply width. Okay, so guessing it's going to be something like ship size dot shape dot extents probably. So let's try that. So ship size dot shape dot extents. All right, let's try that then. So close. Okay, so let's go look up Godot rectangle shape 2D. And it does have an extents. Oh, I did extends, not extents. All right, there we go. All right, so now let's test it. It's a little off. Now, is that fault in the math? Because it's like, now it's like a quarter of it. But if I didn't do half, ship size, all right, let's see what it says the ship size is. Okay, 43.5, 47.5. Shape 2D. Motion, colliding context. Yeah, that's not going to be a great one. Don't think. Oh, I see. They are the rectangle half extents. So that means the actual width is double. So we can just not divide by 2. Alright, we'll go with that for now. But I may research later if there's a better way to do that, because it kind of feels like there should be. Okay, so there we go. And now finally, we want to make it so our ship will only go half up the screen. So all we do is divide that by 2, and we're going to wrap it in parentheses for readability's sake. Oh, wrong half. So now let's do screen size dot y divided by 2 plus. So force it into the bottom half of the screen. It's going crazy. Alright. Goofed up something there. Screen size. Alright. So the minimum screen size. Oh, this one should not be divided by 2. Alright. Screen size plus y is still correct. And then screen size minus y. Okay. Yes, maybe. Give it a try. There we go. So now I hit my invisible, can't go any more forward line. Alright, cool. So now let's go ahead. We'll get rid of these. Alright, so let's go ahead now. We'll make it so we can shoot a bullet. So what we'll do, we're going to add a bullet, or a laser, to our ship. We're going to set it invisible. And actually, before we turn it invisible, we need to position it in front of our ship. So it's down there. Oops, nope. All right, turn that off for a second. So we can move this guy. And we are going to position it so this starts right there under the ship. And we're going to move it up so it's under the ship. Okay. There we go. All right, so now, and then we make it invisible. So now what we're going to do when we fire, we're going to, if input.isAction pressed, should fire, we're going to, put this in a new function. We're going to fire laser. Fire my lasers. Okay. Fire laser. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to get a hold of that first laser. We're going to duplicate it. And we're going to set this duplicated one visible. And then we're going to add it to here. And now we're going to add another timer. I'm going to add this to fire rate timer maybe. Okay, and the wait time is going to be what did we do? 0.5 in the other one? Or no, we said it was 3 bullets a second. So wait that long. Okay, and then so for this guy now, when it times out, we're going to just track a variable that is canFire. And when this happens, canFire equals true. And now here, if not canFire, return. We're not going to fire if we can't fire. And then down here, we're going to set canFire equals false. So we start and then we do that. And then also in process, so let's go ahead, let's break this up now. So we'll say handle input is these guys. Actually, no, let's split them up a little bit better. Let's say do move ship. Do all these bits because they're all ship moving related. Okay, and then we'll do, you know what, just put down here, we'll call this try fire laser. And then we can just check here. So it might fire a laser when it's called, it might not. Move ship, okay. All right, position, I just realized we can't actually do the laser stuff in here because well, if we have the lasers in here, when the ship moves, they'll move with the ship, which we don't actually want them to do. So we could nest ship down a layer, like the actual ship, and do that. But I think probably better, we'll compose them. We'll actually move all the ships, the laser stuff out into the main function, or maybe into the laser itself. So actually, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go, we'll move some of it into the laser anyways. So let's open up laser. So laser, add child node, fire timer. Name this fire rate timer. Okay, and it does a timeout. Do laser. Then we'll have there can fire equals true. This also resets it to can fire equals true. What we'll have this do is emit a signal when it should fire. Okay, so we have that. And then let's see, so we'll do, we don't need ready, we'll do process. So try fire. Then we'll have try fire. So if not can fire, return. Then we'll have if input dot is action not just pressed, just pressed. If action pressed ship fire, and we're going to emit ship fire. I'm still not totally sure how we're going to compose that. We'll have to try that in a sec. What are you grumpy about? The functional signature. Oh, right. You need delta. Okay. And we will go ahead and we'll hook up the move laser here, because that for sure is going to go here. Move laser. There's speed equals 0. Or not 0. Let's try 600. Okay, move laser. So this is very similar to the ship, minus that bit. So, and its velocity is always one direction. So it's actually a lot simpler. In fact, it's super simple. We don't even need any of that. Minus equals speed times delta. What now? Oh, no, yeah, what now? Delta isn't, oh, delta. Press that down. Oh, actually, did we need that in ship? We should have needed that in ship. Yes. Delta. Delta. Okay. Now, let's see here. Why are you grumpy? Signal. Alright, I'm still not sure what we're going to do with that, but let's keep moving through the bits we are sure about. Alright, so the enemy now. Make sure we lock that. Alright. For the enemy, we already have the collision shape. Okay, so hook up a script. Enemy. Okay. So now you are gonna have some speed. Okay, actually, let's go look at how the tutorial handled that bit. Because they did an enemy with a random speed too. So where? All right. So they did. Okay, they used a visibility notifier 2D, so that we should definitely use. And then, oh yeah, because they just did it in here, didn't they? Be somewhere. Wait, where did they set the random speed? Did they do that? They did do that in main. Okay. Spawn location, mob rotation, mob linear velocity. Oh, okay, they used linear velocity, which lets it move on its own because they gave it a rigid body. Smart. Okay, we're going to use those things as well. Yes. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea. Okay. We're going to change our area 2D to a rigid body 2D. And we need to go turn gravity off because they're not affected by gravity. Stupid negative gravity. Alright, 0 gravity. And then, alright, so in here, actually, we don't even need to move them now. We may not even need a script, actually, because the only script they put there... we do want to add the visibility notifier in here. I really like this visibility notifier thing. This is nifty. Okay, so screen exited. When the screen exits, we just call queue_free. And then here we're going to do exactly the same thing. So we don't need this. Yeah, we're not going to do the firing in here. We're going to do the firing in the main game. Okay, so go to that. All right, we're going to swap this to a rigid body. Okay, we're going to turn off gravity. And in this case, so the enemies, we're going to set it in main because they're going to move a little bit random, but our lasers are going to move at a consistent speed, so we can just go ahead and set linear velocity here. So, I don't know, let's try 600. We'll see if that's crazy or not. And so the only thing then in here is also the visibility leaving bit. So node, screen exited, connect. queue_free. Okay. Alright, so enemy and laser just got real simple. Alright, and then ship handles its own movement. Okay. Now then, on main. Alright, so let's see. So we have ship. We have... Did they prelude or did they use an invisible mod? Okay, they did pull it in as a packed scene. And then they did map scene.in. Okay. That will do the same. Export impact scene there. Wait, why did they scene? Okay, because we're gonna drag it in. Gotcha. Okay, so we'll do enemy scene, export impact scene there, laser scene. And we could just preload them here as well, but we'll go with this. And then we go to main and go to inspector and we drag them over into there. And laser. Okay. Now, all right, so we're going to handle the firing the laser in here. So let's do that first. So there can fire for the third time. Going to add a fire rate timer. That we name fire rate timer. Okay. Then we add a process timeout, or a signal rather. Okay, it's gonna go on main. All right, so here can fire equals true, and we need to set wait time 0.333. Okay. All right. And then, why are you grumpy? Indented. Oh, no. Oh, just because process doesn't do anything. Right? Yes, and process needs a delta. Okay, cool. So now, in here, we're going to do try fire. We don't need to give it a delta. So we could try fire. All right. So if not can fire, we'll just return. And then, so here now, we'll do a laser scene. So laser scene dot instance. And we need to position this right below the ship. So we're going to position it there. And then we're going to do canvas layer dot add child laser. And then we need to move it below the ship. So move it, we can move it there. And then find the easiest way to get child index. Get child index. Oh, well, that's easy. Get index. Get index. All right. Why are you grumpy? Oh, right, because you should be Slayer.ship. Oh, you know what? Let's actually... I think this may be one of those kind of code smell things for Godot. If I'm having to do multiple layers, maybe that means I need a new scene. So let's actually create a game like layer. So this will be a canvas layer. Okay, and then I don't suppose you're going to be friendly enough to let me grab this. No, wait, maybe cut, paste. Nice. Actually, I wonder. Oh, there's a reparent to new node. I wonder if that lets me make it a new scene. Reparent, make scene root. Okay, so we'll just call this the game, for lack of a better word. And then in main, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to pull in game. So we'll basically have the game and the background stacked on top, and then ultimate, and also the HUD at some point. Okay, let's see. So this is all basically going to move into game. And we're going to move this into game. Okay, and now we can just do shift.position, and then just add child, move child, and get index. Shift.getIndex. Okay. And then we need to also add can fire equals false. So we don't fire for a bit. Do the 2 lines between. Okay. So, and now in main, alright, and we did, and let's go, alright, let's go game 2D, lock that. No, wait. Oh, good, I guess, because it's a canvas layer. Okay. Game. Nope, that's not moving the game. Oh, I guess it doesn't make sense to move the game, does it? Okay, play. Because it's a canvas layer, so it should take the whole thing. Function non-existent instance. Non-existent function instance in base nil. If not, can fire. Non-existent function instance in base. Oh, complaining about that. Was it not instance? Oh no, it's saying laser scene. Oh, right. We have to re-add these guys. Alright, stop. Because we changed these around. So this is a new one now. And laser. Okay. Alright. Script inherits from native type 2D. So, okay. And that was just because we changed its type. And let's check enemy. Yep. Okay. It fired the laser out of its butt. Alright, let's see. Sorry, lasers are moving backwards, so let's go look at this. Negative velocity. Okay, and then oh, we forgot if input dot is action pressed should fire. Or actually, we could just even say or not input dot is action. That way they're not nested. Should fire. So we don't need to do anything in here. Those aren't true. Okay. Alright, so moving. Hey, look at that. It works. Kinda. Does alright, sorry, timer. Set the oh, we probably need to reconnect it, don't we? There we go. Yeah, when we moved it, it got disconnected. Oh, and we need to start it. So we'll say func ready, and we may move this fire rate timer dot start. Okay. go. All right, our positioning's a little off because we set it to the center of the ship instead of like near the tip of the ship, because we just use position. So we'll use this instant minus vector 2, and we'll just kind of approximate. So minus 0 on the x-axis, minus, I think the half was like 40, so it was like 42. So let's see what 40 looks like. There we go. That's not too bad. Okay. And now, all right. So now we can fire. So now let's get our enemies spawning. So we'll add an enemies. I keep trying to type the name here. Enemy spawn timer. Let's start it here. Okay, and we'll spawn one enemy every second, which is the default. And we'll do a timeout. Okay, so here I'm going to have enemy equals enemy scene.instance. Enemy.linear velocity equals, we'll say, var enemy min speed equals 200, so some real slow, max speed 800. So we'll have some real slow, some real fast. And actually, let's make these constants. Those 200 const enemy max speed equals 800. Actually, didn't they have like a Godot random range function? Randy range. Okay, but it does just take ints, so okay. And I range enemy min speed, enemy max speed. Okay. And then we add the child. And that may actually be all they need. Where are you, Grumpy? Did I not call that right? Random range. Oh, do I have to do... They didn't create a function for theirs. We do want to call that. That just seeds the random, so it's not exactly the same random every time. But I thought they just... Yeah, they are able to just use rand. They used rand range. Was it just rand range there? I thought it was rand. Huh, okay. There must be a util function out there for rand range. That's weird. Rand range. Okay. Invalid set index linear velocity with value of type float. Oh, because we need, because we're just setting the y to a value. Or no, let's see, wait, no, I thought linear velocity did just take a float. Let's see, what did they do theirs? Direction, velocity, linear velocity, velocity. Oh no, I guess they did do a velocity there. Okay. Or they did a vector there rather. Okay, but ours is just straight up and down, so it's simple. Okay, there we go. Kinda. Now we need to make sure that their initial position. So we want their initial position somewhere along the top. So their initial X is going to be, and we'll give this a little bit of randomness too, or their initial Y, well, both really, position, we just do them both in a position, okay. So the X is going to be random range between enemy, or between, see, here's that tricky thing again. We need to get a hold of their inner stuff. I don't love this, but to tell their position, or maybe rather than that, how did they do spawn location dot offset equals randi? I wonder if there's a line version of that, because we used, what was it called, a path 2D? It was a line 2D. I wonder if we can emulate that with a line 2D. Add child, line 2D. Okay. And then the line, we'll just go, no, it's a polygon. Alright, put it there, and then I'm gonna, nope, stop that. Alright, here we go. Move it up a bit. I'm going to move it. I'm going to just shrink it so that it's small enough that the enemies won't hit the edge. Okay. And then enemies on area. Okay, and we'll see how well this code maps over to it. I'm hoping it's probably pretty much the same, just kind of set the offset of it. Okay. Spawn location offset. Get node. Yeah. So, enemy spawn. Yeah, I like the name location better than area, because it's not an area, it's a line. Okay, and then how did they translate that? So we don't have to worry about the rotation because ours is a fixed rotation. So yeah, we'll just set it to mob position, to enemy position. Position. Okay, and let's pop over to the enemy, and on their rigid body, set their direction. There's the direction property, right? Direction. Oh, rotation. Still not seeing the rotation though. Transform probably. There we go. Alright, so the rotation should be -90 maybe. Depends where how they decide. Some systems that uses regular Cartesian coordinates like you do on, like graph paper. Some of them have like up as 0. So we'll see what happens with this. It blows up. That's what happens. Invalid set index offset with value of type int. Okay, so they used it. So let's go check out Godot line 2D and Godot. What did they use in their tutorial? I think it's a rect 2D. Path 2D. Path 2D. path 2D. Curve. Where does offset come from? Oh, what did they add? Oh, path follow 2D. Okay, so we need to add that to our line, hopefully. I want this. Path follow 2D point sampler. Oh, you know what? If it's just a path, we can probably just use that and just not make a rectangle. Path 2D. And then a path follow 2D. Alright. Enemies spawn. What did they name this? Enemy path. Spawn location. Really, enemy path isn't a great name, but so what? Alright. So how do I get it to let me edit these? Curve maybe? Oh, right. Click this. There they are. Okay. One of these add. Yep. Click. Click. Okay. We're we can do a closed path. It shouldn't hurt anything. It just kind of means it doubles back on itself, but that won't really affect anything. Okay, so now back to our script. So now it's actually enemy path slash enemy spawn location. Okay. Alright, and now the enemy rotation we hard coded, so let's see what happens now. Hey, we got an enemy. Hey, we got another enemy. Hey, we got enemies everywhere. Yay, enemies. Okay. So now we have our enemies showing up. Awesome. So now let's add some collisions. So let's see. How do we want to do this? So we need laser hitting enemy, enemy hitting us. And that's actually it, because all the others we checked were going off the screen, but that's handled by the visibility notification. So let's see. So let's have ship have a collision with so actually let's do this. We'll go to the ship script because it has access to its collision polygon. Oh, is it area 2D? There. Body entered. Emitted when a physics body 2D tile map enters this. Okay, I think that was the one we wanted. Okay, so whenever something enters us, we don't know what. Let's just print body for now. Just see what happens. All right. Okay, so okay. So actually, how did they handle this? Oh, they only had one possible thing that could hit. We have two. Oh, wasn't that That might be what that filters thing was, because we used filters to make it so enemies couldn't hit other enemies. So, area 2D filters. Hang on, is filter the right term? It was masking, actually. Godot area 2D mask filters. You can't make the other to be used. For example, it doesn't really tell us what we want. Physics layers. This collision objects can scan one or more of 32 different layers. Oh, I see. So, if I'm interpreting that right, maybe. Interpreting that right, we should have a way to specify which layer things are on and then only connect with those. Physics layer, the physics layer this is in. So collision layer, one-way collision, true only edges that face up. No, build mode, material. New layers in which this corresponds. Okay, so that's for light though. Somewhere there should be. Oh, here, collision. There we go. Okay, so we'll put player will be 1. Then it'll only respond to 3, which should only be enemies. So it shouldn't respond to its own laser, and it shouldn't respond to the other. Because if right now, like if I fire. Yeah, so see how I'm colliding with my own laser. I collide with enemies too, which is good, but I don't want to collide with, I only want to collide with lasers. So we're going to say ship is layer 1, and we're only going to collide with enemies on layer 3. And then enemies are on layer 3. They'll only collide with 1 and 2, so they won't collide with other enemies. They will collide with both the ship and lasers. And then the laser will be 2, and it will only collide with enemies. Okay, so now we should only have. Okay, good. So lasers aren't showing up, enemies are. And those 2 enemies, when they just touched, didn't collide with one another. So perfect. That's a pretty nifty way of handling that. So now we can do here, we'll just, we'll do custom signal, ship hit. We'll just emit this signal, ship hit. So that'll be, underscore, that'll be how we will, in the other area, keep track of our lives. And then when the enemy hits these guys, body entered. So the enemy is just going to destroy itself because the ship is going to know to do the take damage already. And then similarly, the laser will also just destroy itself, but it's also going to emit a signal that is enemy hit. And that was how we're going to keep track of points and stuff, or how we're going to get credit for points. Okay, so now we have those. So now here we'll attach, let's see, we're going to do, we're going to do laser.connect enemy hit. That's what I called it, right? Yep. Hit on laser enemy hit. And that needs to be this. And we don't need to bind anything because we don't care what laser it is because the laser is going to take care of removing itself. We're just going to increase our score. And actually, we're going to want HUD to handle shown score. So let's look at how. Okay, so we'll actually we'll have game then because game's going to go on main. Main will keep track of the actual score, so and share it with HUD. So we're going to emit a signal here. That's just score. I'm going to call it score update. And then here we'll do score increase actually. Emit signal score increase, and then we'll give like 50 points per enemy. Okay, and now we also then need to set that up in here in ready, or actually we don't have to do this programmatically. We could just go here, do ship hit. So when ship is hit, actually let's call these score change, and we'll do health change. So score change, and here on ship hit we'll do emit signal health change. We'll do -1. Okay, and nothing's listening to that for right now, but let's go ahead and play, and we should be able to kill enemies. And that's funny. We have our rigid bodies are colliding in a physicsy way, and they're not quite destroying each other. It creates a very different sort of game. Okay, so our lasers don't seem to be destroying each other. So enemy hit. Let's see if our laser is registering the enemy hit properly. Oh, you know what? It might be because we stuck rigid bodies on them, so they're not actually entering, they're colliding. So, let's see, can we turn off that? Actually, this will be funny just for a moment. I'm going to make the lasers weigh like 1,000,000 pounds, so they should send. Yeah, that was less satisfying than I had hoped. It kind of works though. So, the laser is basically like a freight train now, so it just kind of keeps pulling enemies with it. Okay. Anyways, that's not what we want though. We wanted the rigid body for movement, but we don't really want the rigid body for like collision. Probably one of the modes. Let's go look at the rigid body modes. Alright. rigid mode, the body behaves as a physical object, so that's what we don't. The body behaves like a static body 2D and does not move. That's not what we want. Command behaves like a kinematic and must be moved by code. That's probably what we want. Yeah, let's do a kinematic body. Probably both of these. Oh, nope, because that doesn't work either, because now they're not affected. Now they're not moving by the velocity. What is character mode? Similar to rigid, but the body cannot rotate. I don't really think that's what we want either. Alright, our max speed might be a little fast. No, that's not what we want. Alright, and let's double check that our masking's right first. So, your layer 2, yeah, that should be right. Pickable. Alright, let's see. Godot, rigid body 2D. Don't interact with anything. Oh. Okay. Alright, so we're going to do rigid body, and so apparently all we didn't need that. We'll see. Alright. Okay, there we go. Now it reports it. Okay. And then let's go add. Okay, so, but the enemy didn't hit us. Did I turn that on in both places? Okay, ship. Oh. Alright, let's see here. Okay, so hit us. Alright, so did register, but the enemy didn't destroy itself. Nope. Yeah, so enemy doesn't register hitting the ship. It does register hitting the laser, though. Collides with another rigid body 2D. Collision object 2D. I wonder if rigid bodies can't collide. Well, no, because they can, because we did it in the tutorial. Oh, actually, we didn't. We didn't have the enemy ever die, did we? Let's see. Godot. Edge body 2D collision with area 2D. See comment above. Double click on the body enter signal. Body enter as a function. Both the rigid body and collider objects both have a shared both monitor. It seems to activate on body enter. Alright, well they solved it themselves, but shouldn't be right. So we have 1, 3 here. Enemy should be 3, 1. Yep. Okay. So let's see. On area enter will only detect other area 2Ds. If you want to detect bodies, you must use body enter, which is what I used, right? Let's double check. Body entered. Yep. And then class with another tile. Class contact monitor. Physics body 2D. Where tile map occurs. Body enter so testing won't work. Shipment on area entered. We did give you a collision shape. We gave it a collision shape. Okay. Monitorable, yep. Spectre, enemy, contact monitoring. Yeah, so ship can see enemy, but enemy can't see ship. Dun, 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 dun. Da, da, da. 2D. Player avatar. Question logic. Player has body entered signal, but you can. honest with me. So it sounds like there's some people who don't like what the tutorial does. So the enemy won't detect. Yeah, it kind of seems like this can only interact with if this is what it says, tile map or physics by 2D, which is why it can see the laser but it can't see the ship. Godot tile map. Let's just see what tile map extends, but I doubt it's going to be area 2D. Alright, so that's bothersome. So, I guess what we could do, and this is pretty ugly, but we might be able to just have it might have ship manually call that. And that's pretty hacky, but I don't think we have much of a choice. Okay, so that works. So we'll go with the slight hack for now and just have ship tell the enemy that it's dead. Okay, so we got that now. Alright, so now let's make our HUD. So let's go ahead and make a new one of these. Do a canvas, whatever it's called, canvas layer. Maybe. Hang on, let's double check. Sure. Sounds right, but not super 100% positive. So let's just double check. Yeah, canvas layer. Alright, good. Okay, nope, not how like that though. New scene. Other canvas layer. Alright, so this is the HUD. Alright, let's flip over to 2D. Get on screen. Okay, so we're going to add a label for the score. Drag it. We're going to put it in top wide. Alright, and let's do a theme override, font. So I could just override the font size without having to add a font. Dynamic font. Alright, well, we can go find one if we aren't able to do it differently than that. 64. Wow. Okay. Alright, and we're in center. Alright, yeah, unfortunately, it does look like we need to go grab a font. Open source fonts. Let's just go find one. I had to go grab an totally open source font in a while. Sure, are you licensed in a way I can use you? Your license is OFL plus MIT. I think that's good. I don't remember what OFL is though. Open font license. Okay, this should work. We'll start it since we're using it. Alright, and we will Okay. And we will keep the license with it. Actually, we'll keep all of this with it. All right, new font. Okay, so font. All right, we'll pop the font in there. All right, we don't need a fallback. Don't need that. All right, there we go. That looks a little weird, actually. I think it's just our size. Okay. All right, so we got our score. Now let's do our lives. So for the lives, let's add child node. It'll just be a node to, no, actually, it'll be a HBox container. We learned about these yesterday. Whenever we were doing it. Might have been yesterday. All the days blur together. Okay. And then here we're going to do health. Okay, let's actually, or no, not health. Yes, delete that. It's heart we need in here. Heart. Oh, heart. There we go. Heart. There we go. Oh, it didn't go. Why aren't you going in? Go in. There we go. Okay, now then. Oh, you know what? Does this only work with controls? I think it does. Yeah, okay. So we can't just slap a heart in there. We need some kind of control that can show it. So we could just do a texture button. Really need a button, but container maybe. That's kind of what we're already in. All right, let's see. See what Godot recommends. Sprite in HBox container. Only applies to sprite, however, consider using a texture rect. That sounds right. There it is. Okay. And then we put that in there. Okay. And now we're going to layout. Let's see. No, we'll just say top wide, but it'll left align, so that'll be good. And then we'll give it bit of margin so it's not smushed right into the top of the screen. Okay. Life. Lines. Alright. Done. And we'll just see how it looks. Okay, so that's good. And now we're going to make this life invisible. Because, well, actually, we'll leave it there, but we're going to programmatically control those. Okay, so that's all we need for our HUD. All right, so let's pull HUD into main. Okay, there we go. And now, let's go into the main script. So main's going to keep track of how many lives we have. And then, on ready, we're going to do yeah. Lit signal, lives changed, or do set lives for this. And then over in the HUD, it's going to need a script. the signal set lives. And then we go to node, set lives. Okay, and here we will pair lives life, or how do we want to do this? So we need to make it the number of lives in there equal to this. So, or actually maybe better would be, let's go ahead and we'll put the maximum we're allowing in here. I think we're going to do 6. That's what we did in the other game. And then when we script this, we just will basically turn on however many and then turn off the rest. So live. So we want main to make sure, okay, so main passes in lives. All right, so then here we'll do lives.getChildren. And then we'll do for I in dot size. Okay, and then we'll do if we'll do lives. Let's do this. Children equals lives.getChildren. And then children.size. And then children I.visible equals lives greater than I. So we'll turn on some of them and then turn off the others. Okay. And something's grumpy. HUD is HUD. Oh. HUD like that. Okay. And now fire everywhere. Yes, I did mean size with a like that. Alright, look at that. Set 4 for us. Perfect. And I'm supposed to be losing lives, and we haven't hooked that up yet. So now we need so ship will emit ship hit. So over here we need to listen for ship hit, which actually we'll just have game echo that essentially for us. Or no, we won't, because ship already, our game already handles that. It emits health change, which is what we need to listen for here. So health change, and we can go ahead and do score change too. Okay, whoops. Wait, what? Where did the other one go? I added 2 of them, didn't I? No, maybe I didn't. Must have missed. Okay. Alright, so let's have a score here. Score equals 0. Alright, so let's do health first. So here we just do score equal change. Or no, this is health. So lives plus equals change. And then we do HUD.emit signal set lives. And actually, let's be dry, we'll have just one function that lets us emit that both times. So we'll do func lives change. Or we'll do update lives change equals 0 for if we want to call it without. And we'll do lives plus equals change. Dot emit signal set lives. And then up here, we'll just call update lives and not pass anything. And then actually we can just hook directly into that. We don't need a separate thing. So disconnect. We're going to connect to update lives. All right. So now let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. Our lives changed. Awesome. All right, cool. Actually, let's see what happens if we get negative. It probably doesn't care. Perfect. Okay, and actually, we do want to do, instead of that, we'll clamp this. So we'll do lives plus change, clamp it between 0, and we'll make a const for max size. Okay, so, and then score is going to work very, very similar. So let's go to HUD. We'll do signal set score. We will then hook up HUD to react to set score. And then here it's just going to be score.text equals string score. All right, easy peasy. And now over on the game, on the game script, nope, not game, main script, there we go. We're going to do, we'll do update score the same exact way. So, I already declared that. Okay, so we'll have score equals score, and there's no need to clamp this because it'll only go up. Then HUD emit HUD dot emit signal set score score equals 0 update score, and we're gonna have, instead of this, I'm going to connect to update score. Okay, and now let's see. Did the game actually give a score? I don't think it did. It did for enemy. Okay, and that's all we have so far. So it did. All right. So now let's try to shoot some stuff. There we go. 50, 100. 150, 200. Okay, nice. All right, cool. All right, so that works. So now, let's go ahead. Oh. All right, so you know what? I actually want to pull. I think I actually want to move all that HUD code into game because that HUD's actually only for this game. So let's go ahead and delete it from here. I'm going to grab all this, pull it into game. Just kind of paste it in here. Let's rearrange it. So that goes up here, down there. Okay, and update this can stay named as is, and then we need this up here, and okay, and then we have to pull HUD into here, and then we need to reattach those stay attached. Except they're attached weird. Not HUD emit. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Disconnect. Disconnect. Connect. Update. Lives. Down here. Update score. Okay. Let's make sure that still works now. It blew up. HUD emit signal. Wait. HUD emit. Oh. Yeah. That's not gonna work. I shouldn't have removed those. HUD was correct. I didn't actually need to do anything because HUD was already target. HUD emit set lines update, and then basically instead of now we're not admitting these. That's what needs to go. We're just gonna do update score 50, and then update lives -1. There we go. We got rid of one layer of signal stuff. All right, so let's see. All right, give me the score, yay, and I take damage, yay. All right, cool. And then the reason I wanted to do that is because I think we're gonna make a new scene now for the start screen. Let's just do a canvas layer. All right, and then this is going to be start screen. And then they're all going to share a background, so we're not going to change the background here. And we're just going to we're going to add a label. All right, we're going to do center wide. And we're going to do some overrides, font, dragging that new font. Actually, yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. Font data. Okay, settings 64. All right, space shooter. Text line center, and pull it up a bit. That's too low. All right, that, and we'll add a button. Start game button. I'm gonna lay this out in the center bottom. I'll pull it up a bit. Overrides, fonts, new dynamic font. Nope, double clicked. Font. Settings 64. And the text is start game. And align center. We need to get that back in the center. Center bottom. Whoa! What was that about? Don't know what I did there. Center bottom. Oh no. Center bottom. Center bottom. Okay, there we go. Now we add code create, declare a start game signal, and then when this button is pressed, it's going to emit start game. Okay, and now signal. Now we go and add this onto main. Start screen. There. Oops. Name that. Alright, start screen. Now we're gonna make a game not visible. Make start screen visible by default. Okay. And why is HUD still showing up? Some kind of glitch. So let's save. See if reload save scene fixes it. It does not. Yeah, that's odd. One would think if game was hidden, HUD would hide as well. Okay. Yeah, I think somehow it's kind of glitched out. Let's see here. Let's try. So I had noticed that these are actually all text files, which is really nice for saving things. I'm just wondering. I don't see any references to HUD. Okay, I'm going to try closing this out and reopening it, see if it fixes itself. Oh wait, nope, that's me. Oh wait, but it should be there. No, it still doesn't disappear. Alright, that's really weird. And bothersome. We have a phantom. It's really weird. I don't know how we can have. Because it's not referenced in any of these. And I don't see anything that appears to be creating any of those either. So I don't know how we can have just a magical thing stuck there. It's really weird. Yeah, so I'd assume that those we index to those. Sprites parallax background, background camera, start screen, game. All set to false. Alright, well, that's kind of a bother. Yeah, I don't know what to do for that. Okay, well, what is this button doing? Rotate now, no, scene. Yeah, I don't know, it's weird. Let's, use main scene, run. Oops, come back. Okay, and then. Nope, that's bizarre. Okay, so we're gonna ignore that for just a bit. So let's go ahead, so we'll turn game off. Alright, so start screen's there. And then in this script, we're gonna do I'm ready. We're gonna do start screen. Actually, we don't need that. We can just bind it here. Node, so when it emits start screen, or start game rather, we're going to set start screen visible to false. We're going to set game visible to true. and we're going to call game. We're going to have it emit a signal called new game. And game, we need that new signal, new game. And when it receives new game, actually, we're just gonna, I'm not gonna connect it to that. We're gonna make a function called new game. Connect to new game. Okay, and then new game is basically our ready step minus other things. So we'll put it up here. So it's gonna call these. We don't need to call randomize again. That can stay in ready. So we set the fire rate, enemy rate, update the lives, update the score, and we set score equal to 0 and lives equal to 4. I'm just gonna blank these out because I don't like to have defaults multiple places. Oh, and can fire true. And we also need to remove any enemies and any lasers. So how do we want to do that? How did they handle that in the new game? Did they put them all in the group? That's probably how we're going to handle it, regardless how they handled it. Let's see. Moving old creep. Oh, they did use a group. Okay, cool. That's what we're going to do too. All right. So let's see. When we add the laser, we're going to do laser dot add to group bullet. And when we add an enemy, we're going to do enemy dot add to group enemies. Let's call that bullets. Okay, and then we're going to do get group. What's it called? Get tree. No, yeah, get tree dot call group bullets q3 get tree dot call group enemies q3. Okay, so we reset everything. Okay, so let's see what happens when we do that now. Oops, let me set main back to normal. Main says main scene. Okay, so start game. Seems to be working. All right. So now let's go ahead. Let's make one more scene. This is going to be canvas layer. And it's going to be the game over screen. We're going to 2D. We're going to add a label. Move it up a bit. We're going to do theme. Theme overrides font. New dynamic font. Yeah, I need to figure out how themes work. I'm sure it's probably straightforward. It's probably easier than doing it this way. Oh, that ain't what I want. Font. Oh, drag that in there. Okay, and 64. And this is game over, and we're going to center that. Okay. Then we're going to add another one label. This is going to be final score. Final score, or whatever. Maybe not that many digits. Alright, font. We're going to do a new dynamic. Font, drag over this, there. Now we add a button. Okay, this is play again. And do the little font thing again. Font, new dynamic font. Click that font. Drag this font over. Settings 64. Now we'll do center bottom. Drag it up. Okay. And now we're going to this guy, add a script. It's just going to define a signal. Play again. And then we'll have button. When we press button, it emits that. Okay. Yep. Then on main, we do a game over screen. All right. And now on this one, when that is called, we do. Game over screen equal also false. Here we're going to do start screen is visible. Game over screen is invisible. Is visible and game is visible. Okay, and then we're going to do. That's it, actually. Okay. Oh, and then we need game to emit game over. Something's weird, but I'm not quite sure what. So yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. It is a little weird, but it doesn't really matter how we do it. Who owns the signals? Game can own them. Okay, so in game over now, we do start screen dot visible equals false. Game dot visible equals false, and game over visible equals true. Actually, no, we do want game over to own this because I want to use that to pass in the score. So we'll do, actually, I guess both of them need to. So game over will emit when it's over. And then on that one, we do game over screen dot emit signal game over score. Game emit the score. And then over here, when it receives that game over, it's going to take that, and then I'll do final score. Final score plus string score. I don't actually know if that's how string concatenation works, and apparently it's not. So let's find out. Godot string concatenation. Set text string. Okay, so it's string and then a bunch of things. So it's kind of the string builder pattern then. Gotcha. And do I need... oh, dot text. Okay. And now you. No. Yes. So you here. If lives less than or equal to 0, then we're going to emit signal game over. We're going to pass the score. else going to omit that. There we go. Okay, so, and then save that. Let's make new lines. Alright, let's see. I think that should work. So, start. Shoot, 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 pew, pew, pew. Alright, I need to hit at least one thing. There we go. Okay. Pew, 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 pew. Alright, let's go ahead and lose. Whoop, we blew up. Alright, visible on base. Oh, because it's game over screen. Let's try that again. Alright, there we go. Final score. Okay, awesome. Whoops. Play again. Start game. Alright, that was weird. Let's see, something funny happened there. Start game. Alright, go ahead and speed die as fast as possible. Okay, game over, final score. Play again. Okay, weird. No, it didn't do it that time. Let's actually kill something. Again. That time it did. Play again. Alright, play again. Oh, you know what? I bet some stuff is going on in the background. So let's stop these timers. And we'll go ahead and we'll delete the bullets and delete the bullets and the enemies. Okay, there we go. So that's good. So now, alright, now let's just add the power-ups real quick. So let's go to game. Actually, we made the power-up things separate already, didn't we? Yeah, battery. Okay, so battery. We did redo it. Good. All right, so let's see how to do this. So we'll do. All right, we'll add a collision on it. Body entered. All right, so let's first go set up its mask stuff. All right, so power-ups should be layer 4. They only collide with 1. Let's make the ship able to collide with 1 as well, or with 4 rather. Okay, and now centered. We're going to do, it still says that. No, we need to add a script. There we go. Body entered. Okay. And it's just going to free itself up. Okay, and then same thing with health, power up. So we'll give it a script. We'll set up its collision stuff so it's on layer 4. Okay. And then ship is going to be the one that keeps track of stuff. Although now the question is, how do we tell which type of body hit? Okay, so Godot, how to tell how it collided. Okay, so that probably is the best way to do it. So, battery then will go and we'll just give this fire rate power up, and health will be in the health power up. Okay, save both of those. Now we'll do body dot. Is there an in-group function or something? I know there's a get groups, which would get me all of them, but can I just check if it's in one? Is in group, perfect. If body dot is in group, I'm gonna spell it right. Fire rate power up. Then emit signal fire rate power up. Else if body dot is in group health power up. Emit signal health power up. Elif we just get hit. And we also do that. Okay. Oh, colon. Oh, and actually just else. Okay, and now we need two new signals. Fire rate power up and health power up. Okay. Now game, we'll add those onto the ship and well, no, we don't need to do that. We can just add them here. So used to doing everything in code. Node signals. Alright. So when we get a fire power up and when we get a health power up. Okay. So fire rate power up. Alright, let's do health first. Health is nice and easy. Update lives 1. So we add 1. Nice and easy peasy. Okay. Ship fire rate, we're going to adjust our fire rate timer. So I think what we're going to do, yeah, I kind of wish it had like 2 modes. We could have 2 separate timers, but I think that might be more confusing. So we're just going to do fire rate and fast fire rate, and then we'll set, when we start a new game, we'll do, what is it, wait time equals fire rate. Why are you grumpy? Fire rate fire, and fire. Fire rate. What makes it even funnier is I did it twice and didn't notice the other time. Okay, so we set that fire right there. Alright, so here we're going to do fire rate timer dot wait time equals faster fire rate, and actually it's not double, it's half of that. So what is that, like that? Okay, so that'll speed it up, and then we're going to have another, we're going to add a timer. This is going to be fire rate power up timer. Well, let's call it that. Okay, and so this one, so we'll say we have 10 seconds of that. Okay, and this is going to be a one shot because we only want it to fire off one time and then stop. And then we'll do fire rate power up timer dot start. And let's see what happens if we call start twice. Do we need to manually restart it, or is it going to restart it? Alright, so start. Wait time. Where does it start? Starts with time, says wait time, 2 times sec. If this also resets, good. That's exactly what we want then. So if we pick it up again, we'll restart this timer. And then when that timer goes off, we'll set fire rate timer dot wait time back to the regular fire rate. Okay, and now we need to spawn them. So to spawn them, bring them up here. Their health scene export packed scene. Their battery scene. Okay, now go here. Oh. How do you not have any of those set? That's weird. Alright. Enemy. Laser. Health. Battery. Okay. And now go back to the script, which we're already on. Okay, so now we just need to make them spawn. So let's see. How do we want to define the area that they can spawn in? Add child node. Yeah, I wish we just had like a rectangle thing. This is the same issue we had before, so I guess we could do. I don't really want a path, we want a rectangle. Or I guess we could just do an area. It seems overkill because that's a collision thing. And actually, area doesn't even have a width and height. We just need a thing with a width and a height. Not position 2D either. Let's Google this. Node for defining rectangular area. So we could define it with that, but I don't really want to define it with that. I want something I can stick on the screen. Yeah, we could do think that's what I would do if we were making something more full-fledged, but for now we'll just stick with the 2-point thing. So we'll do 2 positions, and then we'll calculate see, they need like a point, like exactly like this point 2D, just rect 2D that we could have displayed here. There. Okay, so these are the corners, so we'll have a rectangle like this then. Okay. So power up, spawn, start, power up, spawn, end. And we'll also have a spawn timer for them. Power up, spawn timer. Okay. And when the timer goes off, we're gonna spawn a power up. So we'll say var which equals random range. Mod 2 is what we want, not times 2. Okay, so this will determine which. So power up equals, actually we don't even need to do that. Maybe we do. If, let's see. General expression. Here's their ternary, so that's what we're going to use. If value, if expression. Okay. That's weird to me, but it actually makes logical sense reading it. Okay, so we'll do equals, so battery scene if rand I mod 2 equals 0. Actually, we just do that, which flips it around, but doesn't matter. Oh, it's health scene. Okay, so that'll give us which power up we're getting, and then we're going to do its position as a vector 2. Actually, let's go over here, and we're gonna nudge them in a bit just so they're not, so we don't have to worry about the partial off the screen thing. Okay. Okay, so its x is between, so it's range power up spawn start dot position dot x power up spawn end dot position dot x range power up spawn start dot position dot y power up spawn end dot position dot y. Okay. And then add child power up. Okay, that may be it. Give that a go. Oh, did we? Power up spawn timer should still be set to 1 because I didn't change. Oh, we didn't start it though. Power up spawn timer dot start. Power up spawn timer dot stop. Okay, we should get a lot of pop-ups if it's working. There we go. Alright, so I'm gonna hold our fire button and now I'm gonna get a battery. Oh, I did not get a battery. Give me the battery. Alright, so they did not collide. What did we do wrong here? Alright, so monitoring on 4, 1. Okay. Oh, and I still have a print in here. No, I don't. Is that print in laser? Alright, let's see. So, you're watching for 1. Ship is 1. You're watching for 4. Power-ups are 4. And you're all area 2Ds. Right. That's odd. Then area 2Ds not collide with area 2Ds by default. If true, the area detects the collision layer. Yeah, it just needs a collision object 2D. Yeah, we gave them shapes. Disable that one. All right. So let's check ship first. Okay. Yeah. So ship doesn't register that at all. Alright, what did we miss here? Failure mask. Just double check. Yeah, that's how that is. Isn't any layer. So you're in layer 4 and you hit layer 1. It's connected. You have 2 shapes. Shouldn't affect anything. So and you have that set. You have that set. You have that. Okay. Alright, so used on body entered. Just what we used for everything else. Body entered. Why don't you want to pick up my power-ups? Game. Adding them here. Oh, I didn't add them to the group. Although, we should have... Yeah, that's only for cleanup, which we should do while we're thinking about it. But that shouldn't affect the collision. Collide with enemies. Collision between 2 area 2D. Oh, right. We have to use a different thing, don't we? I think we have to use area entered or something for 2D to 2D. Okay. So let's try this. We'll just say print groups. And we can just put it on ship to start. Oops. No, fine. Whatever you want to call it. No. Boo. Alright. Nope. Okay. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, we do have to use a different event. Alright, we can do that. So nope, we need ship. Alright. So ship has that. Okay, so we can do that. Need that because I'll only be those now. And switch this to area. Okay, and then we need to go to battery. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate that that they act different. Because it'd be nice if you didn't have to care which one you were dealing with. Area entered. Free. Entered. Okay. Alright. There we go. Alright, and it does look like I'm firing faster. Got more health. Okay, nice. Alright. So I think that does it then. I think we have a complete game other than, let's tweak this so it's not so fast. So we'll say every 10 seconds maybe. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this pushed up then. So let me make a new repo in GitHub. New repo. Godot space shooter. Space shooter implementation done in Godot during stream. Okay, create the repo. Alright, copy this. Let's go ahead real quick. Let's add a readme.md. Space shooter. That's about all for that. Alright, now go up a directory, then come here and git bash. Alright, and this is a new repo, so we'll init, remote, add origin, add all the files. Oh, we need get. I forgot to add the that git ignore, which means we now have to forget some stuff. We want to forget .mono and .import. Get rmrf .import. Get rmrf .mono. And if it's like last time, that left one. Yep. Get rmrf .import data core. Origin master. Boom. All right. So there it is. So if you want to try it out yourself, you can just pull it down and load it into Godot. So yeah. So I think that's about it for tonight. Thanks for joining. If you enjoyed this, be sure to follow on Twitch. You can catch this stream for a while on Twitch. I'll also upload it to YouTube. At some point, I'll eventually create an annotated version that kind of trims it down. Eventually, hopefully. Still trying to work out a Twitch schedule, but if you want to get a heads up when I'm going to stream, I usually try to tweet that on Twitter as soon as I know I'm going to stream. Sometimes it's like 5 minutes. Sometimes it'll be like, hey, in 4 hours or tomorrow or something. So follow me on Twitter if you want to keep up with that, or follow me on Twitch and you'll get pinged when I start. And you can also chat with me on Discord. And yeah, and then all the code's on GitHub. So thanks for joining me, guys. See you next time.